Hi folks, we're going to talk about how to hold a seminar. Now we talked previously about how you should prepare to have a seminar. Let's talk about the nuts and bolts. What do you actually need to do to have the seminar? Okay, the first thing you have to ask yourself is, if I'm going to be doing a seminar, is this going to be a one-time shot or is this going to be recurring? If it's a one-time shot, you want to keep your costs down as much as possible and not try to amass a lot of cost for tables and chairs and things like that. So, if it's going to be a one-time shot, what you want to do is you want to minimize your expenses. Number one, you want to, let's talk about chairs. You can put an awful lot of chairs in a really small space. You can have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 people in your store without having to move a lot of things. Now, if you start putting tables in, that limits the number of people you can put in there by about a factor of 4. So if you have a space, you can put 50 people in there. If you put in tables, maybe you can put in 10, maybe 12. So if you have a choice, always just do it with chairs. If it's going to be longer than 4 hours, and people have to use their laptops or they have to do something, if they have to write things down, that's when you might want to think about using tables. But for right now, let's think about just having chairs. Where do you get the chairs? Well, if you don't know anybody, you can go to a chair rental place and you can rent out the chairs for really cheap, maybe $50 for a day or two. Next choice, you can go to churches, you can go to other businesses, you can borrow these from friends and family and neighbors. It's nice if you have banquet style chairs, but if all you have is folding chairs and that suits your purposes, that might be just fine for the first time. Where should you have your venue? Where should you have the seminar? Ideally, you should have this in a controlled environment where you can sell your product, services right then and people aren't distracted. Your best place is in your shop. If you can't do it there, can you do it in a restaurant? They have these meeting areas in the back. They have these private rooms. Can you go ahead and do it there? Again, you want to be able to close the doors so you can not have any distractions. If you can't do it there, what can you do about getting a conference room? If you can't do it there, you might have to go to a hotel and get a small meeting room or small banquet room. It depends upon how many people you're going to have. If you're going to do a banquet room or a conference room, you're not going to have to worry about providing the chairs. The space will go ahead and provide the chairs for you. So it all depends upon where you're going to be having this, how many people are going to be having, as to what you're going to be doing there. Most every time that you do this, you're going to have some type of audio-visual demonstration. You're going to have a PowerPoint projector, you're going to have a movie projector, you're going to have something to go ahead and show something other than just you getting up there and standing. It's possible to do a seminar without any PowerPoint presentation. It's a lot harder. It's possible to do this without having an overhead projector or a chalkboard or a whiteboard. It's a lot harder. So you want to go ahead and practice and see what you need to do. If you don't have the money to buy a projector, where can you go? You can rent those. And they're relatively cheap. If you're going to be doing this more than once, you might want to consider going down to Office Depot and buying one of those PowerPoint projectors that you can hook up to your laptop. If you can't do that, a whiteboard will serve most of your functions. Breaks. How often should you have breaks? It depends upon what you're doing. If you're having people that are going to be there for a long period of time, 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, you want to have breaks at least once an hour. And on every break, you want to have your people in the back that can go ahead and sell or sign people up for advanced seminars, for products, for placements, for whatever you're selling. This is the chance to go ahead and do this in between the breaks. You don't want to have it be just at the very end. Now, I saw this fantastic technique about a month ago. I was at this seminar and the speaker said, if someone will act right now, I went ahead and held up a premium. I will have them give you this bag with all this stuff in it, and you get this and this and this and this. As soon as the value proposition makes sense to you, I want you to slip out of your seat and go to the back and take action right now. Who all wants to do that? And what they did was they gave people permission to stand up and go and register right then, and they were going to get a premium for doing that. You do not want to, at the very end of the seminar, have that be the only selling opportunity, because people are in sort of a fragile state right then. They're sort of saying, should I or shouldn't I? I sort of want to. I really see the value proposition. And then if you give them any excuse, they say, oh, I can't do it. I've got to go. Poof, they're gone. You want to have as many people sign up throughout the course as you possibly can. If you're just selling a product or service, have them be buying the product or service throughout the course of the demonstration. At the end, that's not the best time to just have one person doing this. You want to have several people there. I remember I was at this one seminar, and I had this one lady that she was sort of on the edge. She hadn't stood up. She hadn't gone over to buy anything. I went over and talked to her, and after about 10 minutes, I sold her a $2,000 order. Was that worth me going over there and talking to her? A lot of people are like that. They see the value, they want to go forward, but they're sort of teetering. So you want to have those people that are sort of hanging around, you want to have your salespeople go and talk to them and make it so that they don't have to come to you. You might have to go out and talk to them. How long should the seminar be? It really depends upon what you want to do. If it's going to be after work, I would have it be no more than 2 hours. If it's going to be a weekend type thing, that's when you can go ahead and do all day. But I would not go over 8 hours. And you want to have the lunch brought in, because if people have the chance to leave, they will. So I would have the lunch brought in. Let's talk about food. Should you have refreshments there? Absolutely. Why? Let's talk about what you're doing. You want to have the law of reciprocity kick in for you. If I do something for you, you'll do something for me. If I feed you and treat you with respect, if I have a couple of drinks there, water and some Kool-Aid, some other things, if I have some cookies, if you feel like, wow, I've really been treated well, you're going to say, wow, these people are credible. I'll go ahead and purchase their product. It's just a little bit extra, but it can be the difference between the sale and not having the sale. I had a seminar speaker that told me that she was at the seminar a couple of weeks before our seminar, and they offered crackers and cheese and a cup of water. They didn't have any sales during that seminar. It was just really dismal. Why? Because the place wasn't clean. It just didn't give people the feeling that they had gotten something for the money. Even though it was a free seminar to attend, they just felt that, I don't want to do that. Premiums. What is a premium? A premium is something that you give away to somebody. And when you give that premium away, what you're doing is you're also invoking the law of reciprocity. I give you something, and you're going to go ahead and give me something. Now, at the very end, when you're doing this sale, and if you have someone that says no, you must, I repeat, must contact them within the next 24 hours and give them a call to action offer. And why do you do that? Because typically people will go ahead and they'll say, I don't know, I don't make decisions overnight, and they'll leave, but it's still nagging at the back of their brain. If you call them within 24 hours and give them a call to action, again, give them a premium, give them, if you go ahead and sign up today, we'll give you this. What will happen is they will go ahead and they'll just go ahead and say yes sometimes. What do you have to lose? They've already walked out. You've given it your very best shot. They have walked out, and here's what I would ask. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, We want to give the very best value proposition that we can. We want to give the very best service, very best product, the very best consulting, very best training that we possibly can. And one of the things that we ask is, how can we get better? Can I ask you a favor? Can you tell us how can we get better with what we do? And they'll go ahead, by you asking them that question, they will typically respond. And here's what you'll say. So, assuming we can take care of that, is there anything else that would prevent you from buying this product? Typically, they'll say, no, that's it. That's when you say, great. Why don't we go ahead and get started for all the obvious reasons? Did I just take care of their problem? No, usually not. But what happened was that most people have a processorial objection to buying. They just go ahead and automatically they say, I'm not going to buy because. And they have programmed themselves to saying no. And when you go ahead and you state it back to them in exactly their same words, they hear their own voice saying that, and they say, that was a silly objection. I'll go ahead and go forward with this. Will it work for everybody? No. But it's another way you can go ahead and get a few more sales after somebody's walked out. What do you have to lose? Now, once you have the sales, once you have the seminar, and you have the sales throughout the course of the seminar, you have the sales after the seminar, you have the sales the day after the seminar, what do you want to do? You want to stay in touch with those people. You spent an awful lot of time and effort and money getting them to come to the seminar. You want to go ahead and follow up and give them a reason to come to the next one. We're going to be having this at such and such a date. We'd be honored if you join us. If you show up, this is the premium that we're going to give to you. And the premium should be something that is enticing enough, that has value to them, doesn't necessarily cost a whole lot of money to you. That's the way to handle a seminar.